Yeah, guys, hello. Welcome to Nest for Code, the place where code nourish. So I think in the last session we discussed about like how we can create strings, right? What are string slicing, how the strings are immutable, right? String indexing. So I hope you have gone through the like you have either attended the last session or you have already gone through the recorded session for the string part one, right? So now in today's session, we'll see the more in the strings, right? Yeah. So what will be discussed today? Like we'll see few of the methods, so like which are very important in the strings, and few other operations which you can do with the strings, right? First method which we'll see for today is alien method. Like maybe in your last assignment or last topic you have used this method, yeah. But this is a very common method, right? And what it gives us, like it will give us the length of the string, like the number of characters in a string. So we can define any strings, right? It can be say hello, right? Any strings, and we can just say len and the string name, right? And with this, what we'll get? We'll get the length of the string. Right? So what is the value? It is 5. So we know, right? Alien method give us the length of the string and it can give the length of any string. Yeah. And if we want to get say length of a number, we can also get using the same method. Just that we need to get the how we can get it. We can just convert it to the string and then we'll get it. So guys, and one more thing, this alien, right? This will be a kind of a function in a string. So what's the case here? In the alien, you pass this string, right? You are not calling something like this string dot alien, right? We don't call alien like this. We call alien and then we pass a string there. So this alien is a common function which is there. We can use this for a string also, and we can use this for other data structures like list, set, and other things also, right? But yeah, right now we're using it for set string. So you can, for now, you can think it of a some kind of a function which is there in Python, and it's not just belong to string class, but yeah, it can be used for other data types also. But yeah, this is how we use it in the case of string. And guys, also like if your string have special characters or say space, right? Something like this will also come in a length, right? All this will also have length, right? So this is like a string which is having a 5 space, right? So all this, like because space also get a place, right? It's also a character. So this all will go in the length of the string, right? Yeah. So next thing is like we have a upper method in string. So let us suppose if you want to convert, right? Yes. So if you want to convert your string all the characters in uppercase, you can use string upper method. So let us suppose you have a string say hello, right? And we want to convert it to uppercase, we can just call string dot upper. So this upper method belongs to string class. So that's why we have to call it like string dot upper. So we're calling it on the string objects, right? And once we do this, we get hello. Okay, let's print string again. What would be the output now? What will it print? It will print hello, the old one or the uppercase one? Yeah. So output will be the old hello. So what's the reason? So guys, whenever we call a upper on string, right? So we know, right? We discussed in the last session also that strings are immutable in Python. We cannot change the strings. So it's convert the string to uppercase and it return back, right? So if you store it in a variable, then you will get it with some variables, right? So I can say string underscore upper. This is a variable which we have defined, and then we can just call string dot upper, right? So this variable will hold the value which will be in uppercase. So if I print string, it will be the old value, right? And if I print string upper, it will be the new value, right? But yeah, if I want to store say in the same variable only the uppercase string, can we do? We cannot modify this, but we can have the reference in the same variable. So I can say string equal to string dot upper, and then if I print string, what will be the output? What this will print? It will print this hello or this hello. So it will print uppercase one, right? And what has happened here? I think this is same as like how the strings are immutable. We have done it in a similar way. So if we see, right, when we defined a string, right? So we have defined a variable string, right? This was a variable string and it was hello, right? And then what we did, we taken a uppercase. So uppercase will return us a new string, which will be something like hello, this caps, right? And because we know we cannot modify a string, we just remove the reference of this string from old variable and it start pointing to a new string, which was in uppercase. So we cannot access this now. It will just store this uppercase thing, right? Similarly, we have lower method also. Like if you want to convert a string to a lower case, let us suppose our string was, or like let's print hello only, right? We know this is a string. So let's see what's it holding right now. So this is holding hello. And if you just want to convert it to a lower case, we can just say string dot lower. And it's give us a small hello. If we want to store it in a variable, we can say store it any variable like string2, and we can print that string2 also. So it will hold the value in the lower case. So it's also work in a similar way like it worked for, right? Like it worked for uppercase, it works similar way for the lower case also. Yeah. So yeah. One more method I wanted to talk about is like there is a one method which is called count. So guys, there will be a large number of methods in the string, right? But like I will be covering a few important methods. So we have a count method also. What count method do? It counts the occurrence of a string of one string into the another string. Okay, so what does it mean? So what it do? Count the occurrence of one substring into the another string. So guys, whenever we get a part of a string, it's called as substring, right? So we can just count the occurrence of one substring into a string using count method. Okay, so let us suppose we take an example, say hello world, right? And I am string, right? So this is our string, and we just want to count that how many times O is coming in this string, right? Okay, so let's suppose we store it in say str1 some variable. So what we can do, we can just say str1 dot count, right? And what we want to count? We just want to count O, right? And we can store it in some variable also, count number, something like this also. And we can just print this. Oh, okay, sorry, we forgot to execute this. We need to execute this also, and then we execute this, right? So O is coming as 2 times in this string, right? Here and here. So like this, we can, it's not just we can count a character, we can count a string also. Let us suppose if I want to say count hello, right? And then it's coming as once, right? So this is also a useful method which we use in strings. Yeah. So other method that I want to discuss is also a replace method, right? So let us suppose you want to replace some part of a string or some character in a string, right? So it can be replace one, right? One string with one substring with the another substrings. These are useful methods, like because let us suppose, okay. So let us suppose our string was say, like let us suppose we read data from some file or something, and our string was having say space characters or something, or say semicolon, right? So let us suppose I'm saying record 1 semicolon, record 2 semicolon, record 3, right? Like this, record 4, right? So this is a string say which is consist of all these 4 records which are separated by semicolon. And what we want to do, we want to replace this semicolon say with comma. So what we can do, right? What we can do, we can just say str dot replace. I think it's better if we name it as say str1 or all, because we know str is a keyword, so it might not work for us, right? Yeah. So str dot replace, what we want to replace? We want to replace semicolon, and with what we want to replace? We'll replace it with comma. So guys, remember one thing, Like whenever we do all these operations, right, we are doing all this on a string object, right? We are saying string dot replace, but anyhow we have to store the result because it cannot modify the actual string, right? So here maybe we can just say str1 underscore replace any name. We can give it in a variable, right? But we have to store it in, we can even store it in the same variable, but yeah, but we have to store it in a variable if we want to access it on later on. Like if you want to have the reference of both the old and the new, we can store it in a new variable. If you don't want to use the old one, you can just store it in the old also, right? So we can use str1 also here, or we can use str1 underscore rep also, depending on if you want to use str1 again or if you don't want to use str1 again. Okay. So now if we print str1 underscore rep, what we are getting? Oh, I think this is some, oh, maybe I think we have not executed this. 1 second. So it's giving us this old one. Let's execute this and then try, right? So it's replaced with a semicolon with a comma here, right? Yeah. So like this, there will be more methods here. So you can just explore them on your own. One important method which I want to talk about today is a split method. So guys, what happens, right? You will be using this method very frequently. What it do? It will take an input string and it will split them based on the delimiter. What are delimiters? Delimiter will be some character like which we are using to split the strings, which identify the parts of the strings, right? By default, it will be like a space, but yeah, we can split the string based on other delimiters also. We are reading a data from some CSV file, or we want multiple inputs from the user. So we'll see a lot of cases where we'll be using this split method. Okay, so let's see how the split method works and what we can do. So let us suppose, okay, so I will first explain you like how the split method works. So let us suppose you take example of our existing string. So let us suppose the string was, let us suppose we are reading say files data from some delimited file or something like this. Okay, so this is our say data which consists of multiple records, right? So this was the multiple records, and we want all these records separate. That I want record 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, right? So what I can do, I can just say string1 dot split, right? Okay, so what we want here, we want the records from this string separately, right? So what we'll do, we'll split this, right? And split what we'll pass, we pass a delimiter. Sorry. Yeah. So what we pass here, because we know that all these records are separated by semicolon, we want to split this string based on semicolon. So we'll pass semicolon here. Okay. So what? Let's execute this, and this is how we got all these strings separately. We can store it in some variable which will be a split strings, right? So guys, normally whenever we split a string, store the output in a, it will be a some type of a data structure which is in Python, which is a list. So it will be a list of strings, because now we'll have 4 strings in place of 1 string, right? Okay. So, and if you want to access this, you can access it in a similar way like we do indexing in strings. So what we can do, we can just go to split strings, right? And if you want to access the value which will be at 0th index, I will say 0 here. And let's try to print this also. So what will be this value? This is record 1, right? If you want to access the value which was at index 1, we can just give index 1. So what will happen whenever you split a string? So if you print complete split strings, right? Right. So it will be like this: record 1, record 2, record 3. You can see all these are separate, right? You can see 4 strings here. So guys, I think I will just explain you how all this works, right? So let us suppose this was our string, right? In place of record 1, record 2, I will just say R1, R2, right? And R3. Like this, there were 4 parts in the string, right? So when we call a split method, we want to split it based on the semicolon, right? So what it will do? It will create a list. It's a list data structure. And it will separate out these and it will store it in like this R1. So these will be 4 separate strings R1, R2, R3, R4, right? After a split. And they will also have the indexes. So the 0 index is for this complete string, which is there after a split. Index 1 will be there for this string. Index 2 will be there for this string. And index 3 will be there for this string, right? So all this will get the indexes also. So if I want to access whatever was there at the starting, I can just access. So if you can just name this as a split string or some, right? A split underscore r, any variable name. So whatever is the variable name, that will store this value, right? Something. And this was our string, right? So this is how a split works. So this is actually a list data structure. If you see the type of this, it will be list. We'll cover list in the later session. For now, you can just consider it. We are getting a list of strings here. Okay, guys. Yeah. So we know like this, we can get the strings. And by default, it is split based on which variable? Space. So let us suppose if I just call like this, right? We have tried to split the string and let's see what's the value of splitted string. It's coming as only one string and it's not splitted by default because it's split on space. But yeah, we have not provided any delimiter and these are not separated by space, right? So that's why it's coming as only single string. It's not splitted. So if you are, it's always better to provide a delimiter even if it's a space. So you are aware of that based on which delimiter you are splitting your string. Okay, guys. So I'll take an example. Let us suppose you have a string which consists of say marks of a student, right? Let us suppose the marks were 25. Okay, let's increase the marks. Let's 35, 54, 67, 89, and 88. Like these were the marks say for 5 subjects. And we want to calculate the sum of these marks, right? So what we can do, these are separated by semicolon, right? So first we can just say marks, and what we'll do, we'll just split them based on the semicolon, right? So once we split these marks in the semicolon, what we'll get? We'll get all these marks separated. So mark 0 will give us the marks say for first subject. Sorry, I think this is not executed. 1 second, just execute it. Yeah. So mark 0 will give us the marks for the first subject, which is 35. But this will be a which format? This is a string format, right? So let us suppose if I want to sum all these marks, I can say marks 0, marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it will go till index 4, right? And we got the sum of the marks. These are huge marks, right? And this was not what we were expecting. What we did wrong here? Wrong here because whatever after split we'll get, it's also a string, right? So we just concatenated these strings. So if you want them to add it up as a integer, we need to give this int here. So we'll convert them using the int method. So because we want them to work as numbers, we need to convert them using int method into the integer. So guys, I think this is a good way if you want to get multiple input from the user, right? In one line, this is how we can achieve things. And now we got the total marks, which was 333. Right? So that's why, because we need to typecast all this, right? And we cannot use this typecast here, directly int here. We cannot just say int here because it will give us a list of a string and we cannot convert a list to an integer. So I cannot do like this. It will give us an error, right? Int argument must be string. So we can just pass a string here. this is something, a list which will be written by this function. So it will not work. So we have to typecast each part of the string which we are getting separately, right? Now we got the total marks, right? And guys, this is widely used function. This is like whenever you are dealing with file reading or you are dealing with multiple inputs, you will be end up using this split function. Yeah. So I think concatenation operations we also discussed earlier. Like if you want to combine two strings, we can use just plus operator, right? So this is straightforward thing. Like we can just say, if we have a string, say hello, and we have a string to word. Yeah, we can just concatenate using string 1 plus string 2. And this will just give us a combination of both the strings, right? Hello world. Like similarly, we have a multiplication operator also in Python for strings. Okay, so what does it will mean to multiply two strings? What does it will mean? So let us suppose we have a string 1, right, which is saying hello. So do you think I can multiply a string with number? And what will happen? Like normally, if you want a replication of a string, what does replication mean? Like if you want to repeat the same string multiple times, we can just multiply it with a number. So in Python, it supports a multiplication of a string with a number also. So let us suppose if I say 10, it will just repeat the same string 10 times. And if I print string 2 here, the same string will come 10 times, right? You can see it has repeated the same strings multiple times. Similarly, you can multiply it with any number or any strings we can multiply with a number. Okay, so what does it mean? Like you can, so I can, even if I multiply string 2 again with a number. So guys, but it will always give us a new string. It will not modify the existing string. So we know, right, strings are immutable. So we can multiply like this also. But this will be mainly useful when we want it to be a strings with multiple numbers. Okay, so I think someone is asking like how we can add a space also in between. Like if you want a space, say after hello. So I think one thing you will require to do, you can just put say hello space, right? Like this. So I think this is a good question. And I just will define a string, initial string with hello, right? And now just set yeah. So now what we can do, we can just say string 1 into 10, right? So you can see now hello is there. Or let us suppose our string was initially hello and we want to add space. So what we can do, we can just say string 1 equal to string 1 plus space, and then we can multiply it. So now we'll get it in a similar form, right? Yeah, if you want to do it say vertically, or if you want to repeat this, so what you can do, maybe you can just split it, or like something like you have to try out. But yeah, there is no direct function or there is no direct operator for this. And you have to try it out. Like you have to get all these characters and like this. And how you can get a character? You can just use string indexing, right? If I just say string 0, I will get h, right? And you can multiply it again with say 10. So I will get h repeated like this, right? So if you want to try it vertically also, you can use the operations which are there already in the string. Yeah, one method I will also discuss. Like if you want to go say hello, hello like this, you need to append say some next line character. So, okay, 1 second. Let us suppose our string was something like this, /n, and then we multiply it with 10, right? So I think here it will come as like this /n only, but yeah, normally this is a new line character, so it will occur in the next line also, right? So you can use all these characters, special characters there. So it will, if you run it on some compiler like a command prompt and all, it should work. Okay, and there is one more method, right, which is an index method in Python, right? So let us suppose you want to get the index of say at which index the L is there, or say E is there, right? So what does the index method do? Return the index of the character on the string, right? And guys, I think there is one more which is a useful method, right? You can just say do help, right? And let us suppose we can just say string class. So if I want to go for the string class, I want a help, I can just say help str. It gives you the complete structure of that class and what are the different methods are there, right? So you can see here, there are a lot of methods there, like which you are searching, right? We can just do index also. We can search a character also. We can search the complete substring also. But in case of substring, it will give us the start point from where that string is starting, right? So like this, we have other methods also. So normally it will give you the lowest index. Okay, so what does it mean? Like if we search say for L, so we know that what is our string one? Our string one is hello, right? It will give us the lowest index, right? So it will give us the first place where this index is there. So it always return the lowest index. And we can search say substring also. So if I want to search LL, I can search LL also. So it will give me the index from where that substring is starting. So let us suppose I want to get, right? And we know it's a length is 2, so we can get the both the indexes also, right? Because we know it's starting from 2 and it will go till the length of this substring, right? So this is how it will work. Yeah, guys. And as a part of today's homework, like I want you to guys to try out all these methods and also try this marks method, right? Try to do this, try to take this input from a user, right? Take this string, right? This string which is the marks which are separated by semicolon, right? So I think I will just write it here. Okay, I think I will add it in the end, right? So what is the today's homework? Right? Write a program which takes marks of student separated by semicolon and print the sum of the total marks, right? So this is how what you have to do. I'll just change it to some, right? So this is we have to do, right? So as a part of today's homework, go and execute also whatever we have discussed, all these operations or methods, try it on your own, and also write this program which is this program which is taking the marks of the student separated by semicolon as input. So this will be coming as input from the user, and after that we have to print the total marks of the student. So I think like, you get a better idea of the split method with this. So if you have any doubts, you can just add in.